Hello everyone, it's Kavita from Red Door Yoga. Today I wanted to talk to you about overcoming your nature. Now, last week I talked a little bit about the Ayurvedic view of the universe and the idea that we're all of us, everything that exists, we're all made up of elements. And so we were looking at air, ether, fire, water, and earth. And then those formed three what we refer to as doshas. Now, I mentioned a little bit about the doshas and the fact that each of the doshas carry character traits, behavioral traits, traits in terms of our function and our thought processes and the emotions that we're prone to. And so, once you start to understand your doshic makeup, the next question that can kind of come up is, well, am I fated to this? So I, for example, I'm a Pitta Vata. And so if we just simplify it and say I'm a Pitta, okay, then what you would find is, as a person, I tend to be very goal-oriented, and logic really matters to me, because logic is the thing that allows you to go from A to B to C to D in order to achieve a goal. So my mind thinks that things making sense is important. And so with that in mind, we see that there's a propensity that if I'm going through an experience where something doesn't make sense, that's something that can very much aggravate my mind, and then that causes me to suffer. So the question again is, how do you overcome your nature? Am I actually fated to constantly feel aggravation over things that don't make logical sense? And the answer is yes and no. So what happens is the mind has a build. It's built out of those elements, and so it has a build that will cause certain character traits to occur. And so in terms of a Pitta who has a lot of fire in them, that's going to cause that mind to become agitated in the face of things that are not making a logical sequence, okay, so that the mind can predict where to go. Now, I need to accept that. I do accept that my mind is prone to that my mind will want to do that. Whereas another doshic makeup might see that thing that doesn't make logical sense, and their mind won't react that way, because that thing is not the element, the trigger that will cause agitation. But I do have some power here. I am not fated to suffer simply because my mind is built to be agitated in the face of a lack of logic. What I have the ability to do is I have the ability to choose where I place my focus, my attention, where I give my energy. So let's say I'm cutting an apple, and my mind starts to think about something that's going on that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I can choose to focus on this thought process. And if I focus on it, what will happen is my mind will start to dig deeper with this thing that isn't making sense and become agitated about it and start to create stories about it. And I'm going to start to really suffer. And I just keep making the story like a ball of twine, more and more complex, with more and more knots in it. Okay? And it's seeming like a bigger and bigger deal. Or I'm sitting there and I'm cutting my apple, and I notice that I'm thinking about this, and that my mind wants to become agitated by an aspect that doesn't make sense. And I can choose simply to come back to what I'm doing, which is cutting an apple. Now, remember, my mind is goal-oriented. My mind is inclined to figure out puzzles. That's why things that don't make logical sense irritate it. So what I need to do is use the nature of the mind. I take my attention off of the thing that's agitating it, and I place it on noticing the puzzle of this moment. The puzzle of cutting the apple, the experience of cutting the apple, the way the skin has a different texture from the internal of the apple, the way the knife, therefore, moves differently, and I start to really notice the details of this experience here. So my mind can go ahead and want to be agitated about that, but because I've chosen this as my focus, that no longer gets energy, and I no longer suffer. So I hope this was helpful, everyone. I want you to understand that, yes, you have a nature that you are built with, but you are not fated to suffer the weaknesses of that nature. And all of the doshas have weaknesses. Okay? In fact, I often will say to you that your strength is your weakness, is your strength. Okay? So this is overcoming your nature. Have a wonderful day, everyone, wherever you are around the globe. If you have questions, please put it in the comment section. Like the video, share it with others. We're always pleased to have the community expand. And I will look forward to seeing you again very, very soon online. Namaste.